Chapter 6, Section 7, Changing Political Parties. Political factions, from which organized parties involved, began to appear almost immediately after the establishment of the federal government. Those who supported President Washington and his administration would form the Federalist Party, while those in opposition joined the emerging Jeffersonian Democratic-Republican Party. By the 1820s, the Federalists had lost popular support, and the Democratic Republicans had split into factions, eventually forming the Democrats and the Whigs. Though the Whig Party lasted only a short time, it has had a lasting impact on American democracy. When the Whig Party collapsed, many of its members formed the modern Republican GOP Party and elected Abraham Lincoln as the first Republican president. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, the electorate divided along economic lines. Wealthy voters were likely to vote Republican, and less wealthy voters, including a large number of Southerners, were more likely to vote Democratic. A significant shift in party allegiance by a large number of citizens is known as a realignment. An election that signals a party realignment is called a critical election. The 1932 election of Franklin Roosevelt is an apt example of a critical election, in that it ended a long period of dominance by the Republican Party. During the 1960s, another realignment occurred. White Southerners became increasingly disillusioned with the Democratic Party because of the party's support for civil rights, school desegregation, and other social programs. Therefore, white Southerners started leaving the Democratic Party and joining the Republican Party. After the 1960s realignment, the Democrats continued to benefit from the support of minority groups, notably African Americans and Hispanics. The Democrats have also benefited from an increase in support from women and young voters over the past 3 decades. In contrast, Republicans have overall become more white, more male, and more suburban and rural. The Republican Party has gained more support from Protestants, in particular those who identify as Christian evangelicals. Although it has gained support in the South and Southwest, the Republican Party has lost support in the Northeast. Another adaptation that has occurred over the past 40 years is the shift from a party-centered campaign to a candidate-centered campaign. In the 19th century, political machines and party bosses often took advantage of immigrants by trading jobs in exchange for voter loyalty. These machines built large party coalitions that endured for decades. A party coalition occurs when different political parties cooperate on a common political agenda. Today, this type of corruption has been reduced and party bosses have been eliminated. Some people believe that the major parties are now in decline. Party loyalty is no longer critical for economic advancement, and easy movement across the country has fragmented loyalties to state and local political parties. An increasing number of independents, lower levels of voter turnout, and voter distrust of political parties have likewise weakened the political influence of the parties. In the years before television and social media, voters typically received information about a candidate directly from the candidate or someone working on behalf of the candidate. The parties were extremely important organizers of this grassroots, or boots-on-the-ground type of campaigning, in which ordinary citizens advocate for a candidate or issue. Today, campaigns are mostly conducted through mass media channels and consequently have become less dependent on the work done by political parties. Candidates themselves form their own political organizations, professional campaigns that work for the candidate rather than for the party. Both Presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump have shown that parties have become increasingly dependent on candidates who can generate their own enthusiasm and fundraising.